how fast the humanoid robots replace the human staff in sorting center and logistics. Let's find out. Hello, Christian. Today, very exciting topic about the future, real future, real game changer in logistics or not. Humanoids, human type of robots. A lot of buzz around it. Probably you heard that Tesla announced that will not produce Model X and Model S because it wants capacity in Remont factory to produce first bunch of robots. They expect to have 4 million in production in 2027. So it's coming. It's coming real. Let's see. Let's discuss it. How do you see the potential implementation time frame for that in our industry?
I think it will go very fast. I think we will have the first ones in operation. We already see in the automotive. I think BMW has been using humanoids in order to do some parts of their production as a test, but it's working very well. And I think that we will actually in PostNord work that way. I think that the ambition we have in the beginning is not like a humanoid, that the ones that you see that making marketing exercises, doing karate on the floor or doing all kinds of entertainment. It's more like what we need is actually we don't need legs, because legs is 50% of the complexity. We need wheels underneath, because in logistics most of the floors are flat. We need something that can move back and forth and go to the side. We need two arms that actually can grip the parcels. So in the beginning, we probably go with one arm, but we will probably do that. And then we need a body that can move up and down, because what we usually want is actually to load I think one of the areas that we are looking at is actually to load our roller cages from the chute, to do that, because this is a quite labor intensive and an area where we also have difficulties in getting staffing. So what you will start is what they call typically something called polytechnology, where you actually take an AMR and you put a robot on top, a standard robot, and that will make some of the solutions. And over time, we will probably move towards that function will look more like a traditional humanoid, but more in the industrial ways. We don't need the nice face. We just need a camera and stuff like that. But humanoid-like, and I think that will come. I project that we will probably have a version in operation for our point at the end of 26 or maybe in the beginning of 27.
We discussed before about the robots, and the close discussion was that even the classic robots, like all robotic arms or the small robots of the wheels, are still not efficient enough, or maybe efficient, but organization is not prepared for that. Maybe that's why we are different. I mean, still different type of action than people do, and maybe humanoids. This is the answer, because we would like to mimic what humans do. We can put them in next to the rolling conveyor, and maybe they can do the same work which usually people do, but maybe faster scanning of barcodes, something like this. So it may change a lot. We don't need the change of the organization. We don't need change of the infrastructure, and they may be ready to move where we have lack of capacity, because we don't need investments. We need investments for the robots, but you can move them anyway.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit strange, but I would say it should be easier to implement, because you're absolutely right. Because when we look at the robots, what they can do, we always have to change our processes in order to make sure that it's working. And changing processes in a very streamlined environment is actually quite difficult. And I think what you have here is actually you have some type of robots that can mimic the person doing the things. And that means that we, in many cases, the adjustments that you have to do of your process is probably less than you would have if you put some type of industrial robots look-alike into your production. And I think that we will see that we can use some of the technologies that we already have tried. We work with smart glasses at the point in order to see if we could increase productivity in sorting, and we could. And the only reason that we didn't do it was actually that we didn't want to have two vendor solutions in our sorting centers when it came to that simple function of sorting at the chute. But it worked. But the thing that we did with the smart glasses, we already did the integration to a more sorting system. So today, if you look at the eyes of a humanoid, so to speak, is a camera, and what the camera sees needed it to do is actually we already made that interface. So with an API call, and now it's just question about we make that the robot actually communicate, and so together with the sorting. So somebody needs now to help us with the software that we communicate with the hardware, which is a type of humanoid robot like or polytechnology like in the beginning solution. So I think it's actually something that can go very fast. And in the Danish organization in PostNord Denmark, we have actually people an ambition to say that by 2030 we would like to have proceeded the parcel sorted by humanoids and it's not, or by robots. But it's not because we just want to do it; it's because we need to do it. We can't get staffing. With the low unemployment and young people, they don't want to work in a sorting terminal. When I when I when I was studying, I was sorting parcels and letters in a sorting terminal. You can't get the young people to do that. They much rather look at doing something with AI or other things than go out and have a physical work as a student job. And many of our sorting centers are now moved a little bit outside the perimeter of where they want to live, which is also making a difficulty. So we need to make sure that we can do this automation as fast as possible. And that's why I think that this technology will actually scale much faster.
Isn't enough startups or innovation centers, innovation companies which can really offer you some kind of test pilots at the moment? You said that you are going to have something at the beginning, even this year. So, what do you think about the startup or innovation environment? Is it ready for?
We are actually working with a startup called Logibot, which is trying to help this industry. And Logibot is actually being now the software integrator between us and the sorting systems and the hardware robot. And I took a lot of bets on them because I think that what they have is a quite good solution. And I think that there will be others in the market following as well. But they are the first one who came with an offer that just fit the need that we have. And I think that you're absolutely right. When we see the scene in China, it's going extremely fast. We see them rolling out thousands of robots to the auto industry, going quite fast. And I think that this is also what Elon Musk have seen in his Tesla factory, that he needs to act upon it as well. And he has been quite outspoken about that this will come and you can't be stopped. And I think that most of what we see today of humanoids is actually entertaining, or we see it over in the healthcare because there's also a huge need for it in healthcare. So we will see two types of angles coming up. We will see the humanoids going towards the healthcare industry and making sure that our old age is supported in a better way by support robots. And we will have that we take away some of the heavy work that we have in operation. And remember, we have quite a lot of heavy parcels. And one of the things we have purchased all the time is actually we put these vacuum suction cups to lift. None of our employees like to use them, but what if we could train and humanoid to use it instead? So the humanoid don't need to carry more than 15 kilo, but it actually use the tools that we have bought for the people who don't want to use it. We are trying to take away the jobs that nobody actually wants to do, the very monotone, the very heavy lifting jobs, because these are the ones that we first can get to.
Well, yes, I'll ask about the startups and general environment, the innovation environment around the humanoids robots in logistics. Because if we say it's soon, we need to at least see technology we can test. And what I saw in JITEX Global last year, it wasn't very promising. Say there are a lot of, as you said, dancing robots, but they dance the same type of music, the same type of movement. So I would even assume it's more fake than real.
Mm.
And
I think we need also to hope that there are more young people who are getting the interest into these technologies, because we need to have skilled people on both sides of the street. We need to have them in the startups and in the creators of them. I visited one company in India who was also building a humanoid. It was quite interesting to talk to this young man who actually was constructing it himself, and I had some quite good talks about the complexity of doing the different parts, and he was quite optimistic.
Very interesting point about we need the people in our organization. Carriers needs them to really implement this technology, to understand it and implement it. Thank you very much.